Ever since the start, I've held out hope for Shrek 5, while everyone else doubted it and mistreated it without even getting to know it. But now, I'm the one laughing. Me! Who's the laugher now? Me! I'm the laugher. Ever since the Shrek 5 news started to roll out, there's been more and more evidence that Puss wouldn't make his comeback like how The Last Wish teased. He wasn't in the returning cast, he wasn't on the Macy's balloon, and he wasn't in the cast announcement video. But Shrek's two boys also weren't in the cast announcement, and people were dumb enough to say Shrek ate his kids, so now at the cast announcement people will say anything to make Shrek 5 sound bad, even though it's not. Just give it a chance, please! Anyway, all this look of Puss not being in the movie was a turnoff for a lot of people, including myself, but I was able to excuse it in case didn't want to overwhelm the general audience with all these crazy, wacky spin-off characters like Perrito and Kitty, because they'd have to be with him. But this morning, the voice actor for Perrito, Harvey Guillén, I hope I pronounced that correctly, he had something riveting on his story. It was him in the recording booth, recording Perrito, saying he did it this week, which, first of all, what? And second of all, this has a lot of implications for Team Friendship being in Shrek 5, and in what capacity they're in it. Now, ever since the first announcement of Shrek 5 came out with the date that's been delayed twice at this point, the Puss in Boots Instagram account was attached, despite them only announcing Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz. But you can't simply just have Perrito in Shrek 5 and not have the other two, which I assume they'll also have speaking roles, and they're not just going to do a Furious 5 and Kung Fu Panda 4 thing where they just are on screen and don't say anything, and it's a little awkward. But we know at least that Perrito is in the cast. Now, do I think Team Friendship is going to have a big role in Shrek 5? No, definitely not. This is Shrek's big comeback, so they're going to want to focus on him, Donkey, Fiona, and their kids. But there are still multiple ways this could pan out in Shrek 5, so I'm going to list my potential theories of how Perrito and Team Friendship may be implemented into the story or whatever. Now, this is pretty late into development we're getting this news, so like I said, don't have a big role. But the worst case scenario is that Perrito is just in a post-credit scene with Kitty and Perrito who aren't talking or have replacement voice actors, because getting Antonio Banderas and Salma Hayek would be pretty expensive if they're not in it for too long. We could just be in a post-credit scene saying, "Alright guys, Team Friendship, we're gonna go say hi to Shrek now that we're in Far, Far Away," which would basically just be the same as what we got in Puss in Boots 2, just telling us they're in Far, Far Away, even though we already know that. But I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they're gonna do a little bit more with them. This goes to case scenario 2. Antonio Banderas and Salma Hayek do come back, and they're kind of they come out in the end, but they're still in it for a decent chunk. Even they come in the end of the second act or third act, but they still have something to do and possibly help out in the big final conflict or whatever. I think this would be good. It'd give the Puss in Boots fans their fix and tie into the story without completely overshadowing Shrek's story with his kids. And then there's 3 and 4, which I kind of doubt, given the circumstances. 3 being they come in at the start and then have a side plot or don't do anything really. Or 4, this isn't Shrek 5 and it's a completely separate project, potentially the Donkey movie, even though from the concept art it looks to be a prequel. Or Puss in Boots 3, which has been rumored to be in development, but I don't think they'd be far enough in development at this point, because I assume the Donkey movie would be at this stage, and we know that's happening on Puss in Boots 3, which doesn't have a exact, complete, official announcement. Or this is a shorter game, but why wouldn't it be Shrek 5? Everything's pointing to that. But whatever the case, we know Perrito is probably in it. Now, I got a bone to pick with a certain little someone. My time to shine, hello. Ever since they got the Zendaya thing right, everyone's been blindly believing everything they're saying, even though this person's track record is quite inconsistent. But they said that Puss wouldn't be in Shrek 5 at all, and if he was, it'd be some post-credit scene or something. But you can't have Perrito without Puss. So this is kind of a big old boulder dash in that direction. I'm not saying it's not confirmed that they're wrong, but it's evidence against it, and I kind of hope that's the case because I'm not too sure how I feel about Shrek going to the real world and then Farquaad as a Shrek amusement park. I do like the idea of Felicia learning magic though. I think that's a good suitor character. Anyway, I hold out hope for Shrek 5, and I think hopefully it can be a pretty good film, especially now that we know that Team Friendship is returning in some capacity. Because Perrito will talk, if this is Shrek 5, which it most likely is.
Anyway, make sure to put your thoughts and theories in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure to hit the button. Yeah.